hi Ken, and a happy birthday to you, all the way from Ireland, surprisingly in a way, I guess. But just wanted to say happy birthday to you on your 80th. We met when you were 45, just the other day. And yeah, you and I have had a journey of 35 years that we know each other, perhaps not as long as some of the other friends that you have. But yeah, it has been a journey. And when I thought of you, what I wanted to say for your 80th birthday, Ken, just to say thank you. There's three things that really stands out for me. The one is your absolute loyalty to what you give yourself to, whether it's a task or a person, or a couple that are getting married or are married. You and Bev have just done that for so many years. So thank you as well for your loyalty towards me, particularly at my journey at Westville that is done now. How you just were so loyal and faithful. With that came number 2, commitment. Nothing is too difficult for you once you've put your heart to it, and you follow through. So I want to say thank you for your commitment, your loyalty, and then lastly, I think what motivates this all is your love for the Lord Jesus, and your love for His people, and that is just so obvious the way it's expressed in various ways, with the experiences, with the gifts, the skills that you have. So from me, Heidi's not here. She's at the moment in a meeting. Just to say happy birthday, and may the Lord bless you and keep you safe. Take care.
Did you all come together?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about this might well come back.
Everyone knows that.
Hello, Dave. How you doing?
Well, thanks.
Wow.
Hi.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Dave.
Somebody who's doing a better job.
Yeah. You want a tripod, Chris?
Come on. Hi. Hi. Yeah, just doing a little bit.
How are you?
Expect me to wait till you forget it.
I just wanted to follow protocol.
No protocol.
I haven't seen you for years.
You haven't changed a bit.
I've changed lots. Cheers. That is the flagship the Rams,
Brothers sharing
Waterford Estate.
Had to do it twice.
And this is probably close to 1,000 rand.
So I never done this. Did you
It's been on this stretch. So Brian, when they are told to run,
where there is a residual of what you start on, we're still together.
You're the remnant.
That's the word I would have.
Find your place and park.
We haven't like
If you need something to drink,
Oh, I cannot believe that you guys go back like 45, 50 years, and you all here, look at this, and you all look just the same.
Oh, yeah.
So welcome everyone. Thanks that everyone could come. We've kept it very homogeneous. It's just all you lot. We're going to have a little something with a few of our close friends here later. But just very quickly, things are changing quite rapidly, so this is why we're going to eat soon. I am going to just pay a little tribute to the man, because it's his 80th. And then tomorrow, yes, 79. We have got 3 very short videos from the family over there. We were going to, it's all set up to show there. I don't think we'll get electricity. So what Ken will do, because he hasn't heard them, and I know if you want to see the man weeping and wailing, well, you want to get some revenge. So think hard, all right? And then I'll open the floor to anything that you might want to say. And then after that, the man is going to, as I say, charge your glasses full, because he typed like 5 pages. I don't know what's in it, but I know some of it involves all of you. Okay. So, go for it. All right. Yes.
Terry saying grace.
Oh, yes, I forgot that too. Sorry. I'm not very good at this. Now I'll call upon Terry to say grace.
Let's pray. Thank you, Jesus, for Kenneth James Tonkin, for the 80 years that you have sustained him, changed him, used him for your purpose. Grant him in the years to come further strength, wisdom, patience and understanding to deal with us, his family, and those that will cross his path. May you empower him more and more to spread your hope and glory. And Father, we just ask you to bless the food to our bodies and each one of us to your use. Amen.
Amen.
Got it. Guess who this is?
Yeah, but look who's following me.
Thank goodness, Roger.
So now to the camera, and then we're going to play sports, but the dramatic change.
This is just a tribute to Ken on his 80th birthday, so, which is tomorrow. So I'm just going to tell you a little story first, because I think this story is quite important. Many years ago, in a country called Rhodesia, there was a dashing young man who asked a fiery redhead, you know who's written this, a fiery redhead to marry him. She accepted, readily I might add. They decided to have the engagement and wedding rings made by a well-recommended jeweler. So at 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon, after their teaching duties, we were both, these two were teachers, okay? They went to see said jeweler. However, on arriving at his premises, there was a little notice on his door saying out to lunch, but he'd be back at 2:30. Now, below the jeweler was a sports shop, and the beady-eyed young man had seen a notice saying that a consignment of cricket bats had just arrived. Note, at that time, there were sanctions against Rhodesia, and so that was a very important fact. The young man suggested they have a look at the bats, just while we wait for the return of the jeweler. Well, after 2 hours of watching her beloved test every bat, I think there were about 90 bats, with a drive or a hook, the young lady firmly said they ought to go see the jeweler. So they arrived back up the stairs only to find a closed for the weekend sign. Now, I am happy to report that the young couple successfully designed their rings and they got married.
And they bought the bat.
Anyway, so today I would like to pay tribute to that young man who will morph into an 80-year-old tomorrow. Now, obviously, I am a bit challenged in this, so I'm going to use an acronym, and the acronym is CRICKET, because, you know, he's passionate about cricket. So the first thing is C, for cricket. So from the story you will realize that Ken has a passion for this game, albeit these days as a TV spectator. R is, I'm supposed to be saying this to you. So
That's all right.
R is for real and authentic. I have known Ken for 58 years, and next week we will have been married for 54 years. So after his birthday we got married, but not in that order or whatever. In all that time he has shown no airs or graces, and he's not pretentious in any way. And he's in that time, yesterday, today and tomorrow, and he's like that today as my husband of 54 years. So he's really very easy to live with. So I'm not inviting you to my 80th because I know he will have a different story. And he won't call it cricket. I don't know what you call it, but anyway, okay. And the I is intelligent, knowledgeable. And Ken is. Anyone who's got a wit like Ken, he's bright. He's bright in his mind. But he has a great knowledge on history, geography, sports, and everything. Now we have some quizzes here, and I tell you, all the ladies have to fight me to be in his team because he knows the answers. He knows the music, he knows the sport, every single sport question, history, geography, and so on. But I think for me, we've been blessed to be able to travel. And we've traveled to some weird and wonderful places like Egypt and Cancun and Mexico City, and where else have we been? We've forgotten all those places. Croatia, all over, lots of Europe and so on. And you know what has been really, really lovely for me is we get to a country, like when we went to Croatia, we get on this boat, it was an unique tour, and we arrive, and I look and all these buildings are looking a bit whacked out, you know, and I said, well, Ken, I think this is a poor nation and it's not doing so well. Well, he trots out why the whole war of the Serbs and the others and exactly what happened. So it actually is lovely. He brought Europe. Europe is my favorite because the history that he just talks and talks and talks about. Sometimes it does get a bit much for me because I'm a stupid science type of person. But then what I do, I have a backup, and I just say to him quietly, I see there's a movie called Top Gun. Now, why don't you phone that friend of yours and the two of you go off and see that movie? So he phones Roger and they talk all this nonsense about the history of this, who waged war, etc. So there is a backstop. So thank you, Roger. You saved me often because that history really, my history teacher kicked me out of the class. I was such a bad influence. Okay, so C is being exceptionally caring and considerate person, and Ken always has been. It's amazed me that he just cares and he considers. And for example, what father would take his eldest daughter shopping for her first bra? Ken did, because she wanted him to. I think she had a mother problem. What father would patiently, and I mean these two know this, would patiently go up and down West Street with the younger daughter trying to get a pair of jeans that would fit her, and like 8 hours later, it's fine, we got a pair after looking in the shops for 8 hours. But anyway, and then what father would, at the age of 57, when his youngest daughter sidles up to him and says, Dad, 2000 is a good year. Will you do comrades with me? Ken did. So he's just been really caring, and hopefully you'll be able to hear what the girls have said because it's actually lovely. Right, then K is kindness and shown to me. You know, I was playing bridge on Monday last week, and there was a huge storm. Do you remember that big lightning storm? And everyone was saying, oh, how are we going to get home because we've got visitors who come and play bridge. And the next thing, the door flies open, and there's Ken. He's bought my umbrella for me. He knows I don't like my hair to get wet. And that's the sort of thing that I do yoga on a Monday morning. When I go home, he's cooked a breakfast for me. And these are the kindnesses. And I think there's an ulterior motive, not so much these days, but delivering all my parcels to my clients, because they were all very young at one stage. He made sure he interacted with all the time. And so off he goes down once a week. He says he's going to JT Ross to do his supergroup there and all his other clients, but he sits at Stedman News and all these ladies come, hello Ken, how are you Ken? And they're all getting so old, they can't see or hear. Then the third thing is, the next thing is E. E, it's cricket. Have you got the joke? E, it's cricket. Okay, E. If I miss something, I'll just remind me, I'm sure. I know that you're pretty sharp with that. Okay, empowering. And I'm going to speak directly to you. You have always empowered Tony, Law, and me to achieve crazy things. Some things notable, some altruistic, some really very crazy. And I remember when at the age of 25, we'd just been married a year, and I was given the opportunity of taking over the National Cancer Cytology Service, which did the screening program for the whole of Zimbabwe. And I said, well, I'll just have to chat past my husband. And I went to him and I said, I can't do this job. Dorian's a doctor. I'm not a doctor. No, I've got to do this job. I don't think I can do it. And Ken just said, Bev, you can do it, and I'm right behind you. And that's what he has done with everything that I've done. He's been right behind me. He doesn't just say, you go and do it. He facilitates it happening. Ken, I love that. I really do. Right, and then the last thing is T. Oh, it's gone quicker than I thought. I'm so happy. Okay, today I get to tell you how much I love and respect you. So thank you, Ken, and may the days ahead be happy, healthy ones for us as we do life together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Ken. Hope you have a great day and a great party with all your friends there. Come on. I was a bit surprised when we were asked to record this, as I wasn't sure RT Bev would be able to get it up on the screen in front of all your friends, but I'm sure it'll go swimmingly well. So have a good day and a good party. All the best, and we'll see you later on in the year.
Hey, Baba. Say happy birthday. Happy birthday, Grandad Ken. Are you gonna wave? Clap, clap. Clap, clap.
Clap, clap.
Clap, clap.
Okay.
Clap, clap. Clap, clap.
Okay. Enough of that.
Happy birthday, Dad. I can't quite believe that you are 80, because you definitely don't look or sound or anything like an 80-year-old. But I'm sad that we don't get to celebrate with you in person on your actual birthday, but looking forward to celebrating with you in July when you're over. As I kind of think back over kind of my childhood and the years, I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you've always been for me and everything that you've always done for us. I always knew that I was loved. I always knew that there was a safe space for me to be able to speak to you about anything, and I always knew that I would have your ultimate support with everything. So some of the things that I remember that are kind of really good memories for me is how you taught me to drive very patiently and let me drive you every day to school, despite the hill.
You can't drive.
and even though you've turned into a bit of a boy racer in your old age and your souped up BMW, also the way you helped me in my final year at school, you worked really hard with me. I was very keen on getting good marks in my history exam, and you spent lots of time with me helping me, and I really do appreciate that. Also the way you supported my choices in terms of what I wanted to do when I decided I wanted to do medicine, even though you knew it would be significantly require a number of years of significant support. Thank you for that. And then thank you also for being in support as I left South Africa, moved to the UK, and always championing my right to be able to live and work where I wanted, and supporting me in that. I really value your integrity. I value your wisdom, and I love and respect you, and thank you so much, and happy 80th birthday. We look forward to seeing and spending some time with you in July. Lots and lots of love. Bye-bye.
Say bye.
Bye-bye, Fern.
Hello, Ken. What better setting than next to the Mediterranean to send you wishes for your birthday? We know just how much you love the Mediterranean, and you'd be in there swimming even though it's freezing cold still. So 29,200 days, that's what it'll be on Monday. Now I'm sure you wouldn't need a calculator like I needed to work that out. In fact, you probably know that that is 700,800 hours that you have lived for. That's almost as many kilometers as your Toyota Cressida did. Fantastic. So I'd like to wish you happy birthday before I hand over to Laura.
Hey Dad, happy 80th birthday. Wow, what a milestone. We are so looking forward to celebrating with you in person in July, and looking forward to taking you on many walks, so you better get ready. Dad, thank you for always being there for all of us as a family. Your calm stability, your sense of humour, the way that you love Mom, the acceptance of all of our random hobbies that we did, and also for taking care of our cats, even though you professed you were not a cat person. You even kissed their tails, so thank you so much for that. I've so valued your words of wisdom when bouncing things off you, and also for carrying me through to reach my dream of completing Comrades in 2000. Thank you also for all the amazing experiences that you gave us as kids. The holidays, the game parks, the time just chilling on the beach, and even the driving lessons when you were like 14 or so. So have a fabulous time celebrating with your friends, and we will celebrate together when you're over. Cheers to you, Dad. We are cheersing with your favourite cup.
Happy birthday, Grandad Ken. I'm very excited to see you in July. Have a lovely day. There's a shark in the water!
Decided we're not running. We're going to play squash. Remember that? When we played 2 games of squash and we got tired of each other. So we joined the running group.
But only because we got the dreaded phone call thing.
Tell them how far you've run.
We reckon as a group, which is still going today in a small way, we walked or run 1.5 times around the world.
Wow. Collectively. Each of you all
Well, coming here today, I was thinking about Ken. And, you know, Ken is always very gentle and soft when he talks to you, and he very quietly coerces you into doing things. Barbara and I have been in America, and I've come back and I'd had to move the belt a couple of notches. And on a Sunday morning after church, Ken comes up to me and he says, "Handsome, you're carrying too much weight, and I don't want to have a heart attack carrying your coffin out of the Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. So I said, well,
I said that to him about half an hour ago.
So I said, okay, fine. So what do? He says, you report to the running group at 5:30 outside my house tomorrow morning, whatever it was. So I didn't have running kit, but I had a pair of shoes that I used to fish for Shad and Toti, and some shorts, obviously. And I duly pitched up. And we started very slowly, and interestingly, a year later, Chris Hedgecock and I ran the Two Oceans Marathon. Yes. And I'm eternally grateful for that. Thanks, Ken.
I think there can be few people who would have done what Ken would have done, or did do, in fact, which was to marshal us and to make sure we ran. And I mean, we all benefited from it, both physically and spiritually, because what happened was we all became friends, the church grew, it was an easy place to bring men along, and it was a wonderful idea. And I got to understand how plumbing works, because if I woke up and I heard rain, I had to make sure there was water running in the house. Because there'd be a phone call at 9 o'clock to say, where were you? But I think the other thing with Ken is, and you've touched on this, is his caring manner. He really cares about other people. And that's just a part of you. It's intrinsic to your nature, which is a wonderful attribute. So well done, Ken, for all the input you've given to each of us in different ways, many, many ways. And we appreciate that. We endorse what you had to say. And we pay tribute to you on your 80th, and may we be here for your 90th.
Can I say that I was the one failure from the road? Ken and Chris Hedgecock, I think it was actually Ken who said, you've got to come. Everyone else was doing it, you've got to do it. We'll just go for a gentle little run around Westville. So I said, okay, I'll try, and reported to, I think it was your house, Colin, that we started from, and we went down and down and down and down, and I'm thinking, how are we going to get there? And we went down through the Westville University and then started to come back up Pitlochry Road, up and up and up, and we got halfway up there and I said, not me. I'm never going to get back to Colin's place. And there was a nice little road that went past, and we just slipped there to our house. And I said, that's it, I'm going there, I'll come and fetch my car. And that's all the funny part. The caring part is that Ken said, you aren't going to do that on your own, even though it was only about 2 blocks around the corner. He came with me, left you guys going your way, and he came with me just to make sure that I didn't have the so, thank you for that. Thank you for letting me escape the running group. I think you decided I wasn't good material.
When they were running, you were passing them.
I would just like to confirm everything that everyone else has said about the running group. But what you probably don't know, or you generally recognized as a boring old scientist, but it was through Ken's college in Zimbabwe that I did a course in accounting and in business management. And I thank Ken for that. He probably doesn't realize I did it through Rapid Results College. But that was extremely useful to me later in life. Thank you, Ken.
Can I say something on a more serious note? Ken appeared to me like an angel sent from God twice that I was thinking of this week. The one time was when I'd been in the Westville Post Office and there was a shooting. The cash and transit thing was stolen, and I leapt over a counter this big and dragged an old man with me over, hid in the back, and as I came out, totally traumatized, Ken was standing on the steps and he prayed with me and just brought peace to the situation. And the second time, Ken, you did that, I was with my mom, who was about to pass away, at the Hillcrest Hospital, and I came out distraught. You were outside the door and prayed with me and just brought peace. So I just want to say thank you for that serious, loving, kind, helpful person that you've been in my life.
I need to share this. We were in Paris and we went to go and see the ballet. And we were walking back and it was like 2 in the morning because it was a late show. And oh, it was so unsavory. There were all these ladies of the night around and everything with their pimps and so on. I was freaking, even Ken, it was just the two of us. We were walking back to our hotel. And we just were so happy that we got back. They didn't do anything to us or anything. When I got back, Barbara said to me, Bear, I was woken up at 2, or it was like 3, I think there was a time difference, in the morning, and I had to pray for yours and Ken's safety. And you did. Do you remember that? And I just was gobsmacked because I was really terrified. It was not savoury at all. And you know, when you come from like South Africa, where in those days those things didn't happen, and there you were woken up to actually intercede and protect us. Yeah.
And then God used Ken to minister to you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't remember who we walked with or ran with, or probably Margie and Susan, and we weren't the top of the class. But one day Ken said we're going to run to the beach on a Saturday. And we looked at each other and we thought, this is going to be the day of miracles. Anyway, he explained to us how we could do it slowly, and they would monitor us and they would watch us, and somebody would pick us up if we wanted to faint or whatever. So Dawn and I took this on, along with all the group of men. They must have gone ahead, but there must have been people surrounding us, watching us running. And we actually ran from Westville to the beach.
Wow!
Now that is really amazing. We only did it once. Did you do it too?
Yeah, we did it a couple of times,
Yeah.
and then people said, do you run back?
I just remember we had a nice breakfast
At the deck.
And we could hardly walk afterwards. But we did that. And
to do that.
thanks for Liv and Ken for all that encouragement. And also for lots of other encouragements, especially for all your marriage courses. And Roger and I were like everyone else did a course. We did a year or 2. But you were both such patient, good teachers. And you didn't only sow into our lives, you sowed into other people's lives, but our lives and our children's lives, and their marriages. And I'm sure that if they were living here, it would have been grandchildren's marriages as well.
Yes.
But so you've touched us on all sides. Even when we had, remember every time we bought a house, it had plumbing problems. And the rains would come, we would have to install drains. But one day you arrived on Sunday after church, and in Marlow Avenue, and the place was flooded. And we had to bail all the water out, and afterwards they had to lift all the wooden blocks and fix them all, but you were there to help us and see us through that crisis. So yeah, we've walked a very long road, and it hasn't always been easy. There's been big challenges on the way. You've helped us a lot.
Just remember when we lost James,
And it was the morning of the memorial service, and you arrived at our house, and you said, I've come to pray with you. And that was so important and so significant to me. I've never forgotten that, Ken. It was just, you just knocked on the door, I've come to pray with you, carry you through. It was amazing.
You've been aware of all of our needs.
Yeah.
And you've been on the lookout for where you can give a hand, so thank you.
And at the other end of the scale, we arrived at Westville Presby, having started in Powertown Presby, where there was at least a children's room, and there was nothing. And we had Graham and his little plan, and we didn't know what to do. And Ken says, well, I've got the perfect solution. Our garage. We will make our garage into a creche. So Graham became the first baby to go into the creche, which was, you know where it was, down the road. And poor old Karina Howard in Barnet now, she was one of the first ones to mount him, and she'd sit there, there was no fence.
No.
They'd be down there for an hour and a half, playing. Every now and again someone interesting would wander off the road on a Sunday morning, and Karina would, in her very calm way, just tell them no, we didn't need whatever they were trying to sell. And that little room grew into quite a few little people. And it was the start of that facility. So thank you.
And can I add to that? He would dive out of bed, rush through to the garage, roll the carpet out and vacuum the whole thing at 6 o'clock in the morning. For how many? For 4 years?
Yes, it was. Quite some time.
Amazing.
So I've written a poem to Ken.
I want to record this.
So we are gathered here for Ken, who has reached 8 times 10. Born in Wales, it is said, before his family that continent did fled. Now has a replacement for both knees. He claims it was just a breeze. Being a bullet, he just shot through it. Like a Rhodesian cricketer of note, lefty batsman, right-hand bowler, what a strange bloke. Always an organised and welcome taskmaster, early morning runs were seldom a disaster. A handful of comrades he did run, 4 times he beat the gun. Although reduced now to a fast walk, this has not stopped him from a captain's talk. Never heard him really gloat, but I do know he killed a goat.
You'll have to tell that story.
Some time ago, blood in his urine he did see. Just beetroot salad it turned out to be. And that was a day in hospital. I'm thankful for his often prayer, no matter when or where. God knows his willing heart. What a better way each day to start.
That's lovely too. Willing heart.
Where do you start? I think it's very easy to prepare a speech when you're delivering and you're not responding to what people are going to say. So I want to say thank you to all the memories that you brought up, some of which you've confirmed what I was going to say anyway, but I will say it nonetheless. My eyes are getting a bit short, so I have to bring this close. I'm not a great reader, so these are just a guide. Ironically, what you talk about doesn't necessarily always fit tight with me. I see myself, and that was a loner. I was a boarder at school, and I learned that the one thing you don't do is to put your heart on your sleeve, because at that stage you become extremely vulnerable to everything around. So I've had always, all my life, I've had acquaintances, but very few that I could call friends. But friends are the people like sitting around here. Friends that I could call upon and will drop whatever they're doing and be here. So thank you for coming. Thank you for 40 odd years, in some cases more than that. Ryan? 65 years. You first. Anyway, Bev and I want to start with Bev. Bev and I like rom-coms. Bev may tell you that I like rom-coms and she just goes along with it.
Yes.
I like rom-coms. So I want to start with a couple of quotes from two of them, which I think are very pertinent when I want to talk about Bev. First of all, from The Prince and Me. Towards the end of the movie, the king says to his son, when a man gets old, he's thankful for the good decisions he made when he was young. Now that certainly applies to me. And then from The Wedding Date. Now, the wedding date is about a bride's sister who has to go to the wedding and hasn't got a date because she's broken up with her fiancé. And so she hires this gigolo to go with her. And right at the end of the movie, he turns to her and he says, I would rather fight with you, because they fought throughout the whole movie, I'd rather fight with you than make love to any other woman. And there I need to say, I need to start. I'd rather fight with you than make love with any other woman. Now, let me explain. When you're dealing with Bev, nothing is as it seems. Everything in our marriage is up for debate. We need to negotiate everything. So we deal with it, and she has said to me, and I've said to her, if you'd married a doormat, you would have murdered her. And I've said to her, if she'd married a timid husband, she would have walked all over him. So we have spent 15 odd years negotiating life. But I would not swap that for anything. She is, and I've written down here, she's not just my wife, she's my best friend. And to some extent that means so much to me, because yes, whilst I need people, I need somebody that I can lean on, somebody who I can be honest with. And that's not always easy for me. I don't wear things on my sleeve. Bev's there. I can tell her, I don't always like what she says, by the way. She's challenging, she's expectant, all of that. But she's in so many things she's right. And then I want to just, you saw our two daughters. I love them dearly. I love them, I love their husbands, I love their offspring, and I'm amazed at what they've become, principally because we didn't push them to do anything. We allowed them freedom to make their own choices. For example, Laura could have gone to university. She chose not to. She went to tech. She ended up with a simple diploma. She's now a manager at Mars because of who she is. And that's what I believe we as this parent group need to be encouraging our kids to be the best they can be, not the best we want them to be. And I love them for that. And of course, I'm loving our grandchild. We've waited a long time for them, but we love them and we're going to do the best we can for them. So, that's enough about us. I love our family and everything else. Now I want to just reflect a bit, and then I want to talk a bit about you guys. I see my life in 3 parts, from 0 to 30. In those days I did the right thing. I tried never to put my head above the parapet wall, never put myself out. It was a nice, safe little place to be. Then from 30 to 53, I learned a whole lot of things when I stopped being a teacher. You know what they say about teachers? They are men amongst boys and boys amongst men. And that was really a little bit about who I was. I was a boy amongst men. Then I went into rapid results. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then the wheels came off. And when the wheels come off, you have to start looking at what's actually in you and what not, and not define yourself on what you can't do, but look at what you can do. But how did I get from the old 53 to the new 53? Because that's when it happened. And it happened because of the people around this table. people who stood in the gap, people who gave us cash when we didn't have any cash. I didn't earn anything for a year. People who gave us opportunity to get work, to do stuff. People who were just there, supportive. And so, what do you say to friends? When you say thank you, it sounds so, what, empty. But can I say, look at each of you and say thank you. Thank you for walking with us. Thank you for carrying us. Thank you for encouraging us. Thank you for getting us to here. 27 years later, we're still afloat. Thank you. So, now, let's see how good your memories are. Because I've done a little bit of thinking about what's happened in the last, particularly 40 years. Because one of the things we learned very quickly when he came down here is people would say to us, what's it like in Rhodesia? And those, before you'd even given them half an answer, they were talking about the shad they caught at the beach, or the way Natal played yesterday, or whatever. And so we said, okay, we're not going to look back, we're going to look here, we're going to make friends. And so the fact that I've got 2 Rhodesians down the bottom of the table is not because of their Rhodesians. Brian I didn't really meet until he came here. Yes, Chris and I go back a long way. But for the rest of you, you're all Saffers. We've met you here and you're our friends here. So thank you for that. Okay, so here goes your memory. First, who is the person who spent many nights fixing my Alfa Romeo 1300?
Not me.
Probably Brian.
And who is the person who, during those fixings, taught me not to swear it?
Who was the guy who dropped the chain down into the sun? Brian.
Did you drop it?
Well, I don't know whether he or I, but we did between us. And I know that Brian was so anxious that we got the timing right. And I think the first time we got it 180 degrees out. Brian, you and I go back to 58. I didn't know you then, but we came to Plumtree and we played against.
And he hit a 6 over my head.
Okay, so there's number 1. Brian, there are, for you and Mars, there are 2. There's a little Mars bar each for you, and I'll talk about him a bit later. Then, there's one person here with whom I played double squash before I knew what the rules for double squash were. You know who that person is?
Must be you, Johnny.
Chris, Roger Southgate, Mike Southgate and I played squash. Now, with squash you stay on your own side of the court. We didn't know that. So we played that I hit the ball, Chris hits the ball, now it's Brian's turn to hit the ball, irrespective of where, and say we were
Do you remember that?
We go back to 59, when I met you for the first time when we played Plumtree at Plumtree.
And you came in and batted the wrong way round.
Okay, and then, easy one. Who were the first South Africans we met? The first South Africans we met?
Johnny.
Well, you knew my parents before you
Johnny.
knew
No, but we ended up playing, remember all those days at Nazareth House? Tennis? Yeah. So, you guys were the first of our South African friends. If that deserves a medal, great.
Well, we survived.
Okay, then now we come to the man who bought one of the first models, I think it was the 220 SL Mercedes. And he used to park it up on the top above the ramp at Pinetown.
Was it Roger?
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah.
So you would have had an SL there?
No, it was the sedan. It was an SL, it wasn't the SLC.
Oh.
Anyway, I remember that. And I think it was a dark blue, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, Xander's already spoken about the day that the water erupted in Marlow Avenue, and we ended up barely being able to get up the drive because of all the sinkholes that developed along the way. So it was time together, and I remember that.
Can I say something there?
Yes.
Okay, you each take a Mars bar. But Zan, while they were sweeping and everything, you just cooked like you, what do we do for fun? We bake.
Yeah.
And you just cooked and cooked. Do you remember? And all this food came out and everyone was sweeping. I didn't get into the kitchen. And everyone was sweeping and so you deserve that very much so.
It was easier to cook than to clean up all the
I have never seen so much water in my life. And then there was the person that Bev met before I met them at Halstead Farm. And she came back and she said to me, I've met this guy, he is such fun.
It was a drama weekend, do you remember?
And by the way, he still is, despite the fact that he's now part of the extended family. And then somebody that I need to pay tribute to because of what she's meant to Bev over so many years, and that is the person that has was a real special friend to Bev over such a long time. And it's a she this time.
Glenda.
Thank you. Okay. Now, come to a little bit after Pinetown, because all of those were at Pinetown. Now we come to Westville. What can I say about a man who was as lovable as the slobbery dog that used to invade our breakfast in Gravesend Crescent? And Colin, I also recall having to sing with World War I songs with you at a church Christmas party. Now, how you ever got me to do that, considering Jan Henwood's instruction to me, don't stand anywhere near me in the church because you can't sing. So, Colin, you know other things, but thank you for that. Thank you for that, and thank you for reminding me again, although I had talked about carrying you out the church. And then, where's my health consultant? He said, I quote, "You cannot have any training effect unless you do exercise 3 times a week." The man behind the camera. And what about, and this is a question to the men around here, what about all those questions we used to get about the white Mercedes or the black BMW running down the road, because Chris wanted to know all about this religion that he didn't know anything about at the time. The 4 horsemen of the... Yeah, the horsemen. Well, that was his understanding. Okay, and Dave, you've already stolen my thunder, because I said the only man I couldn't persuade to join Avon Harriers, he claimed, in inverted commas, he claimed that he had to be at work early in the morning. And this despite the fact that he had a comrade's medal of his own, which he hides well in the back corner. And then the last one is a little bit close to me, I'm afraid. What do I say about a man who loved to entertain us, loved to cook for us, loved to have us around? He should have been here today. Jules, we love you. So, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to risk with us. And I hope you be blessed, because Graham should be here. So, having said all that,
am I allowed to add one?
You may add one.
Do what you like. Who is the shy young first-year student at UCT doing geography, spying out those handsome third-year students?
Oh, Penny, you better get another chocolate.
So I just want to say, again, coming back to the movies. Bev and I loved the movie A Good Year with Russell Crowe. And it's all about this arrogant broker in London who inherits his uncle's chateau and estate in Provence. And it's all about vintages and whatever. And then at one stage, a illegitimate daughter of the uncle arrives. And at one stage she says to him, what were your memories like? And he says, they were all here around this estate and they were all grand. Well, can I just apportion that and say that all the memories I have that I've shared and others and the memories that you've got, to me they're all grand. Meaning we've walked a heck of a journey together. Thank you for walking with me and thank you for allowing me to walk with you. And so, you've seen these. Just one thing, they're not courtesy of Laura, but if you know where Laura works, she works at Mars, so this is advertising.
For the sugar industry.
And then, the last little thing is from the film Couples Retreat. Right to the end, what does he say? Time to party! Over here.
Toast to King. Yeah. Oh yes, let's have a toast to King.
Yes.
To you. Yes.
Said Ken is a very forgiving chap. I'll never forget, we played a lot of cricket together and Bev would come along and she would score. And she would score with coloured pencils for each player. So when so-and-so got a run knocked off him, it was a blue one. When someone did this, it was a red one. Then unfortunately, during this game, Bev had to go somewhere, to the toilet or something, and I had to pick up the pencils and score. I'm colourblind.
You can just imagine. I came back, seriously now, who likes colour in this room? Colour is very important to me. You know, I even dressed like the foliage. And I come back and I said, thanks so much, Chris, that's fine, I feel better now. Sat down. I mean, every batsman had a different colour. Well, they all changed their colours. It was just a total right. So I had never forgiven you for that.
I've got to. I said to Beth, I said, who's washing up? She said, David Roger. Oh no. You didn't bring your Goldilocks gloves?
No, didn't.
Oh, Roger, you must ask for a refund.
Thank you, it was a lovely day.
you.